Question: where did you learn about money? I don't know about you, but for me, college and dental school taught me zero about finances and even less about taxes. It wasn't until I read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki that I learned how to get money to work for me so I didn't have to pull teeth for the rest of my life. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone, a periodontist that wants to help you get out of the rat race with passive income so you can stop trading your time for money. Now, if you want to get started, download the passive income guide that's below this video. Now, today we're going to highlight the 6 basic rules of investing that Kiyosaki teaches in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And stay till the end where I share with you my number one investment choice to build real wealth. Lesson number 1, OPM, use other people's money. Now, if you want to make money in investments, he recommends that you use other people's money. Now, in real estate, this is called leverage. I started off early on in my career when I got out of my training, following the 7 baby steps that Dave Ramsey puts together to help us dig out of the $300,000 student debt hole that I was in. Plus, we paid off that first home. Now, as you can imagine, this was a great feeling once we met this goal. But then after that, I was 41, 42 years old. It was like, okay, now what? So after stumbling across Kiyosaki while I was educating myself about passive income to replace my dental income, I began to understand more about using leverage when it comes to investing. Because remember, Dave Ramsey is just anti-debt. And then you got this other guy on the flip side, Kiyosaki, that talks about using debt smartly with leverage. Let me give you an example. So when you're buying a property, it's important to use debt in order to increase your ROI, your return on investment. So for example, let's say you buy a property for $100,000 and you put 20% down or $20,000 of your own money, okay? So you're using $20,000 of your own money to finance this deal. But if you can find a property worth $200,000 and you only put 10% down, which is the same amount up here, guess what? You're using $180,000 of debt to finance this property. Now, what this does, this actually is going to increase your ROI. This is going to increase your return on investment because you're using less of your money based on the property. Now, when you use leverage, you can make a lot more money with a smaller investment. Now, again, I don't recommend that you do this unless you have the financial education, as you can quickly get in over your head, just like any other type of investment. All right, number 2, understand and learn that there are 3 types of income. All right, so let's go over these and then we'll talk about the one that I like, but we'll talk about the one that most people are typically know about, and that is the first one, earned income. So this is what you're getting right now when you trade your time for money. You have to work, you have to physically work for money, okay? Remember his cash flow quadrant? More than likely you're an employee or you're self-employed like me. All right. Remember, this side he talks about is this is how you make money. So this side over here, it's the highest taxed. So if you're an employee or if you're self-employed, this is what's you're just getting killed in taxes. Okay, we're trading your time for money. Now the billionaires, on the other hand, they show very little taxes on their returns. So because of this, whenever the government says, "Hey, you know what? We should tax the rich," guess what? They laugh because they have nothing to tax. They're over here on the right side of the big business or the investor. All right. Second type of income, one that you're probably familiar with as well, because if you have a financial advisor, they want you to put you in stocks, bonds, that sort of thing. That's portfolio income. Okay. This is the money that you make from investments, such as the stocks and bonds, that sort of thing. Also, if you flip houses, anything like that, you actually have to sell something to generate this type of income. So if you buy a house, you fix it up, you flip it, you sell it, that generates portfolio income. The third type of income is my favorite, and it's the one, passive income, and it's the income that the rich focus on making all the time. It's also known as cash flow, and it's the best kind of income because, like, unlike this one, you don't have to sell anything to generate it. So this is the money that you make from assets that you own, such as rental property, real estate syndications, businesses, that sort of thing. This income is the least taxed among all 3, okay? Which is another reason why the rich are over here and they focus on this. So, and I get it. If this is the first time that you're hearing this, like I can remember the first time I was hearing this, because all I was doing was just treating patients and focused on my income, focused on making money, paying taxes. That's it. Whatever I have left over, put it here in stocks, mutual funds, or whatever. But once I started learning about this, I get it. It's just a different way to think about money, because again, we go our whole lives taught to what? We want to focus on this, make more money, make more money. Hey, what are you making this year? I'm going to take a job making 300,000 or 400,000. It's all about focusing on earned income. All right. So in essence, we're told all along our education and all that, and I really, if you have kids, like I have kids or grandkids, consider this. Consider sitting down, talking with them, at least starting the conversation, because you and I have been told our whole life that the only way to get rich is we have to what? We have to work more to get more earned income. I have to treat more patients. We have to work more shifts, nights, weekends, longer hours. Yet it's the worst way, because it eats up our time, right? It eats up our time. It's whittled away with taxes. And then we get to, working for 10 or 15 years. And what happens? We're exhausted and we're burned out. Okay. So think about that. If first time, if you're hearing this, marinate on a little bit, buy his book, Cash Flow Quadrant. It's all about how you make money. And then you start to realize, hey, maybe I've been duped. All right. Which leads us to Kiyosaki's third rule of investing, and that is get a financial education, which we don't get, right? Our financial system is actually screwed up. I'm right now really honed in on this because, again, I have two teenagers. They're getting ready for college. Now, looking back, we've been taught to what? Go to school, study hard, make good grades, go to college, take out loans if you need to, and get a what? Get a job. But look at all the jobs. They're going away, right? With artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, jobs are becoming more scarce. And when you do get the job, what about those taxes? Do you ever think taxes are ever going to go down? When was the last time that you saw a tax decrease? Never, right? They always go up. Why? Because the government keeps printing money that you and I have to pay back. And then we're told to get out of debt. Yet debt is actually money, right? And remember, this is what we discussed up here in lesson 1. The rich know how to use debt to get wealthy. So again, if you get caught in this whole system without understanding about how finances and money works, which I didn't, I didn't learn any of this. And if I wouldn't have learned it, I would have worked my whole entire life with little to show for it, because at the end, what happens? You're always worried about running out of money, because you're focused on what is the stock market going to do? You're focused on the portfolio income, right? So if you're retiring, I spoke to a 55-year-old dentist from some rural area in Michigan yesterday, and he's working 2.5 days a week, but he's like, hey, I've lost $500,000 this year in the stock market, and I'm tired of it. I want to do something to. I need some cash flow. I want to do something that's almost guaranteed. Well, of course, guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed, but a lot more predictable and guaranteed than the stock market. Okay, so he's started the process of this, getting himself, even though it's late in the game, it's never too late to start today if you don't have the financial education. Because it's making a lot of people now, if all you have is earned income and portfolio income from the stock market, from retirement accounts, it's making many people like him, he'd love to retire yesterday, but he's having to put off his retirement now until he's older, because he just got a $500,000 hit. Now, who wants that if you can avoid it, right? I don't know about you, but I do. And it all starts with getting yourself educated, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Number 4, invest for cash flow. Again, too many of us are focused on the wrong things. We're mainly on that what? Remember, all we're doing is we're focused on that earned income from our job. Instead, you should be focused on, hey, this is going to be a mindset shift for you. You should be focused on assets, that cash flow, that give you the passive income, in which, guess what? you're over here. Remember the passive income, it's the least tax. You pay little to no tax. It's just working smarter, just working smarter. Now, for me, actually the light bulb came on when I invested in my first syndication, about 6.5, 7 years ago. Now, I put $50,000 in an apartment complex in Dallas. And after it closed 6 months later, I started getting distributions. And the cool thing was, it would come in. Back then it was every month. Now most of these are every quarter. But again, it would come in every month like clockwork. And then the cool thing was, a year after that, I received this K1 tax form. I'm like, what was that? Again, I had to educate myself. So they give me this K1 tax form. When I first glanced at it, I was like, wait a minute. It shows my $50,000 investment, but then it says I don't have a profit. I have like I lost money. I have like this negative number. Again, I was financially uneducated. But then I realized that the sponsor group, the person that was head of this syndication, they had used something called accelerated depreciation on the building, which allowed them to offset the distributions, offset my cash flow, offset my passive income from the investment. Pretty cool, right? So the passive losses that I was able to get from them on that K1, it showed it had a loss. So the passive losses offset the passive income, which I didn't pay any taxes on. I haven't paid any tax in 7 years on any distributions. That's investing and working smarter. Can you get that in the stock market? No, you cannot. Again, once you make this mindset shift, you don't have to focus so much, remember, on this income column. Okay, you don't have to focus so much on that. So your focus goes from income to assets. All right, this is how the wealthy operate. They just work smarter than us, not harder. This is smarter. Just use your brain. Okay. Number 5, learn how to evaluate risk versus reward. Now, one of the biggest issues that people get caught up in is they don't understand how to evaluate this. Either they take on too much risk for too little return, or they're so risk averse that they leave money on the table by not taking enough risk. Now, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Kiyosaki, he spoke about a story that his rich dad, who was actually his best friend's dad with like an 8th grade education, so he told a story about how his rich dad talked to him about this risk versus reward. So, and this was the story that he said. He used the example of his nephew building a burger stand. So the rich dad is talking to Kiyosaki. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth. So the rich dad talking to Kiyosaki and says, "Hey, if you had a nephew with an idea for a burger stand and he needed $25,000, would that be a good investment?" And Kiyosaki thought, and he said, "No, there's too much risk for too little reward." Rich Dad said, "Very good. But what if I told you that this nephew had been working for a major burger chain for the last 15 years? He's been vice president of every important aspect in the business, and he's ready to go out on his own and build a worldwide burger chain. And what if you could buy 5% of the company with that $25,000? Would that be of interest to you?" And then Kiyosaki thought, and he said, "Yes, definitely, because there's more reward for the same amount of risk." Now, learning and mastering the rules of investing, it takes a lifelong investment in this financial education, which is hopefully one of the reasons that you're watching this video right now. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a financial statement? Do you even know what that is? I didn't until maybe 8, 9 years ago. Okay, they don't teach us in school. They don't teach us in college. They don't teach us in dental school or medical school, anything like that. So we need to understand how the wealthy operate. We need to understand what these major banks and that sort of thing, what they're going to require of you whenever you want to buy property or do anything like that. Okay, so you have a job, right? Most people have a job that brings them income. Most people, the income goes to the liabilities, which kick off expenses, which there's your money. So you buy a house, a car that has a car payment, has taxes, whatever, income. So you have to work for income to pay your liabilities that kicks off expenses. That's how most people operate. You need to realize this. But what do the wealthy do? Remember, they focus on assets that cash flow. So they buy assets that give them income to pay for their liabilities. How about that? They're not trading their time for money. Again, it's just a different way to think. So but because of this, because of the people don't know this, why do you think so many people are in such student loan debt? Or so many people are so much focused on uh, buying a house or anything like that? They don't understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Remember, assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out of your pocket. People say, oh, your home's the best thing that you should ever buy. You know, it's an asset. Just ask the question, does your home put money in your pocket? I don't know about you, but mine does not. It's a liability. Unless you got somebody renting it out, then yeah, it's an asset. Okay. And last but not least, number 6, you want to focus on converting your ordinary income, converting your earned income into passive income. Okay. That's where you want your focus. Now, more than likely, again, you've probably, like me, have been an employee at some point in your life. And I started off renting space from an endodontist. Used his equipment. He allowed me to share staff members amongst both of us for 2 years. Great guy. And he actually showed me how to run a practice. And there's nothing wrong with being an employee for a little while. But remember, the path to building wealth starts with understanding that, remember, that there are other types of income over here. And then you want to convert your earned income into the other part. And that's the secret. And we've already talked about this. So see this right here. Here's the secret. So here you are. You've got this earned income, right? Earned income that you're already making. You know, you're making 100,000, 200,000, whatever. You're trading your time for money. The path to wealth starts with you focused right now on converting this to passive income, to the other types of income, passive income and portfolio income, as quickly as possible. That way you can start not having to trade your time for money. So once you start doing this, that's basically you move from being over here, the left side over here, to the investor. Excuse me, your job down here is to just manage your investment. So if you're a dentist, you go from pulling teeth, making crowns. If you're a doctor, you go from treating patients, working on patients, doing surgery. You go from that to the assets that give you this cash flow down here, stocks, bonds, whatever, dividend paying stocks. And so then your job goes from trading time for money to focusing on or managing your portfolio. How cool is that? So think about it. Unfortunately, when most people get some sort of raise, they move, they get a new job, get a better job, they get a bonus. What do they do besides, spending it? They're either going to come over here and they're going to save more in their 401k, or they're going to put money in a savings account if they don't spend all of it. Now, Kiyosaki in the book recommends that instead they should pay themselves first. Okay, pay themselves first. If you need to, pay yourself, invest in yourself, get more education, find a mentor, coaching group, mastermind, whatever. Pay yourself first, get financially educated. Then once you get educated, then you can take that extra money and invest it, remember, in cash flowing assets. And then basically this plan will start to, work. And then you'll begin starting to convert your pay raise now and any future pay raises or anything like that into, voila, passive income. How about that? So now that you know Kiyosaki's 6 rules of investing, I want to let you in, and I've actually alluded to a little bit earlier, my number one preference. If you're right now, if you're busy, this is your best wealth building tool right here, your income. You've gone to school a lot, you're making 2, 3, 500,000, whatever it is. Focus on that right now. Make as much as you can. Treat patients well, treat your customers well, that sort of thing. That is your biggest wealth building income. Okay? So do that, get financially educated, and then Once you do, my personal recommendation is stay focused on that, keep doing what you're doing, and then put your money to work for you as quickly as possible. So if you want to build real wealth, for me, while still treating patients, or you're working on your W-2, real estate syndications, or some sort of passive real estate deals that provide passive income. So the syndication is basically you're pooling your money with others to purchase something like an apartment complex, self-storage facility, mobile home park, anything like that. Okay. If you don't know anything about that, or you want to learn maybe some of the ins and outs, how you can add that to your portfolio, then what I want you to do is I broke this down in this video over here, a complete guide to investing in syndications. I hope you join me over here.